You're fuming over a missed loyalty discount, losing sleep over $2.14 at the checkout. But here's the brutal truth. While you're mourning pennies, you've got a $700 monthly car payment for a rig you can't afford and a mortgage redlining your pulse. You're bailing out a sinking ship with a plastic spoon while the hull is wide open. This is the cheap mentality, a psychological virus keeping you mediocre. You're obsessed with the $5 latte but ignoring the $14.79 loss-chasing cheap fuel or burning high-value mental RAM on 30-cent decisions. We're here to delete that victim software. Stop saying, "I can't afford it," and start asking, "What's the ROI?" The elite don't shrink their way to wealth. They expand their capacity. Stop playing defense with copper and start playing offense with strategy. Invest in your skills, your tools, and your health. True wealth begins when you value your time over pocket change. Point 1. The gas station paradox. Let us start with a law that Wall Street understands, but the average person ignores: the law of total cost. Imagine you are driving and see two gas stations. One is charging $3.89. The other, 15 minutes across town, is advertising $3.79. Most people feel a surge of dopamine at the thought of saving 10 cents a gallon. They make the turn. They drive the 15 minutes. They feel like a genius. But let us use the Feynman technique to look at the raw truth. Your car has a 15-gallon tank. Saving 10 cents per gallon equals a grand total of $1.50. Congratulations, you just bought a cheap candy bar. But what did it actually cost you? That 15-minute drive is 30 minutes round trip. Your car gets 25 miles per gallon, meaning you burned a gallon of fuel just to get there. That fuel cost you $3.79. You spent $3.79 to save $1.50. You literally paid the universe $2.29 for the privilege of feeling smart. And we haven't even talked about your most non-renewable asset, time. If you earn $25 an hour, that half hour you wasted is worth $12.50. The actual cost of your little savings mission was $14.79 in lost time and fuel. The cheap person sees the 10 cents. The visionary sees the $14. The cheap person asks, "How much does this cost right now?" The builder asks, "What is the return on this investment?" Money is a tool, not a trophy to be hoarded in a glass case. In the world of high-stakes finance, we call this ROI, or return on investment. Think of it like a seed. A cheap person is so afraid of losing the seed that they refuse to plant it. They keep the seed in their pocket until it rots. The wealthy person plants the seed knowing that losing the seed today is the only way to own the forest tomorrow. Look at your life honestly. Are you a hoarder of seeds or a builder of forests? Tell us in the comments which mentality has been holding your bank account hostage until today. The 1% doesn't hide from the truth, they confront it. Point 2, the biometric drain and the $20 rule. There is a concept in Silicon Valley called decision fatigue. Imagine your brain is a high-performance computer. Every morning you wake up with a certain amount of RAM or processing power. Every decision you make, no matter how small, consumes a piece of that RAM. When you spend 10 minutes in a grocery aisle comparing the price per ounce of two different brands of pasta sauce to save 30 cents, you are burning high-value mental fuel on a low-value task. By 2 p.m., your brain is exhausted. When a real opportunity arrives, a chance to negotiate your salary, a potential business partnership, or a complex investment in the S&P 500, your brain is already in power save mode. You are too tired to be brilliant. You are too drained to be courageous. You traded your ability to make a $50,000 decision so you could save 30 cents on paper towels. This is why the elites simplify their lives. Here is a rule of law at Pinto Invest, the $20 rule. If a purchase is under $20 and you have basic savings, buy the one you want and move on in 3 seconds. Do not calculate, do not compare, do not agonize. Save your mental RAM for the $20,000 decisions. Save your energy for the moves that actually shift the needle on your net worth. Wealth is built in the big moves, the house you buy, the career path you choose, and the assets you accumulate. If you are bickering over the price of a name brand cereal, you have already lost the war. You are bailing water while the ocean is winning. Point 3. The coffee myth and the sinking yacht. We need to address the most toxic advice in personal finance, the latte factor. You have been told that skipping your $5 coffee will make you a millionaire. This is mathematically true but psychologically bankrupt. Yes, spending $5 a day is roughly $2,800 a year. Over 40 years invested in the market, that is a significant sum. But here is the problem. People obsess over the $5 coffee while ignoring the $47,000 SUV in their driveway. They agonize over name brand trash bags while paying $500 more in rent than they should because they wanted a luxury apartment they can't afford. They are sweating the small stuff while hemorrhaging cash on massive structural leaks. This is the sinking yacht metaphor. Imagine you own a luxury yacht. There is a massive hole in the bottom where thousands of gallons of water are rushing in. Instead of fixing the hole, you are standing on the deck complaining that the ice cubes in your drink are melting too fast. Being cheap is focusing on the ice cubes. Being wealthy is fixing the hole. We have all been there. What is that one big leak in your life? That car, that house, or that habit that you have been ignoring while you tried to save pennies elsewhere? Share your story below. Admitting the leak is the first step to plugging it. Point 4. The scarcity prison and the cost of inaction. Why do we act this way? It comes down to the scarcity mindset. This is an invisible prison built by your upbringing, the media, and a flawed education system. Scarcity is the belief that there is a finite amount of pie, and every time you spend $1, your slice gets smaller forever. You don't see an $80 pair of shoes, you see $80 leaving your life, never to return. You don't see a $1,000 professional certification, you see a terrifying loss of safety. But here is the hard truth: you cannot shrink your way to wealth. The elite operate from an abundance mindset. They see money as a circulating current. They know that a $1,000 investment in a skill that increases their income by $15,000 a year is not a cost. It is a massive win. Consider the depth charge of ignorance. A cheap person refuses to spend $500 on an online course because information should be free. They stay stuck in a $45,000 a year job. A strategic person spends that $500, masters the skill, and moves to an $80,000 role. The cheap person saved $500 but lost $35,000 in potential income every single year. Over 5 years, that is $175,000. That is the cost of being cheap. That is the price of staying small. Point 5. The high-resolution life versus the low-resolution struggle. Let us talk about tools. In the professional world, your tools dictate your output. A cheap person sees a high-end $200 laptop and panics. They think about rent, they think about groceries, so they buy a $300 budget machine. But look at the physics of that decision. The cheap laptop is slow. It freezes during a crucial client presentation. The camera looks like a grainy video from 1995, making them look unprofessional. It breaks down in 18 months and they have to buy another one. Over 5 years, they spend $1,000 on junk, lose hundreds of hours to technical frustration, and miss out on high-value contracts because they looked like an amateur. The visionary buys the $1,200 machine once. It works perfectly. It saves them 10 minutes of lag every day. Over a year, that is 60 hours of reclaim time. If their time is worth $50 an hour, that laptop just paid for itself 3 times over in the first year alone. This is the low-resolution life. When you buy the cheapest mattress, the cheapest food, and the cheapest tools, you are choosing to live your life in 144p resolution. You are tired, your back hurts, and your tools are failing. The elite choose the high-resolution life. They invest in the best tools so they can produce the best results. Point 6. The biological toll of being cheap. The most expensive thing you can do is ignore your health. A cheap person skips a $150 dental cleaning because they don't have the money. They ignore a small cavity. 2 years later, that cavity becomes a $1,500 root canal. They still can't afford it, so they wait. Now it is a $4,000 implant and an extraction. They saved $150 and ended up paying $4,000 plus weeks of physical agony and lost work. This applies to everything. The $200 you saved on a cheap mattress will cost you $20,000 in physical therapy and lost productivity over the next decade. The wealthy mindset asks, what is the cost of not doing this? What is the cost of a broken body? What is the cost of a car that breaks down on the way to the most important interview of your life? Suddenly, the expensive choice looks like the bargain of the century. Point 7. The social credit. Ghost and relationship capital. Your reputation is a shadow that follows you into every room. In the world of the elite, we call this relationship capital. Cheap people think they are winning when they undertip a server or split a restaurant bill down to the final penny. They think they are smart when they show up to a dinner party empty-handed. They saved $20. Congratulations. But what they actually did was buy a reputation for being small-minded, and that reputation is a ghost that haunts them. People stop inviting them to high-level mixers, mentors stop taking their calls. The $100,000 job referral never happens because the person who could have helped them remembers how cheap they felt during lunch. Generosity is not an expense, it is a high-yield investment. When you pick up the tab or bring a quality bottle of wine, you are not losing money. You are signaling that you are a person of value. You are building a network of people who want you to win. In the long run, the person who saved $500 on tips loses millions in missed opportunities. The social math is invisible, but it is the most powerful math in existence. Point 8. The language of empowerment. The final layer of the prison is your vocabulary. The words you use are the bricks of your reality. A cheap person says, "I can't afford that." This is a declaration of victimhood. It tells your brain that you are a passenger in your own life, at the mercy of the economy and your boss. The visionary says, "I am choosing not to allocate resources to that right now." This is the language of a commander. Even if you don't have the money in your account today, you are acknowledging that you are the one making the strategic decision based on your priorities. One phrase keeps you small and fearful. The other keeps you in control and focused on ROI. Your brain is always listening to the story you tell it. If you tell it you are a person who can't afford things, your subconscious will work overtime to make sure that remains true. It will stop looking for opportunities because, what's the point? We can't afford it anyway. But when you speak the language of resource allocation, your brain starts solving for wealth. It starts looking for the leverage. It starts seeing the world as a game of strategy, not a struggle for survival. Wealth is not a number in a bank account. Wealth is a mental architecture. You cannot budget your way to the top by cutting out coffee. You can only get there by expanding your capacity to earn, by investing in your skills, and by valuing your time above all else. Stop playing defense with pennies and start playing offense with strategy. The world does not reward the person who saved the most on gas. It rewards the person who built the most value. As for those of you still watching, here is a hard truth gift for the visionaries who stayed until the end. The most dangerous form of being cheap is being cheap with your self-respect. Every time you settle for the budget option when you know you deserve better, you are telling your subconscious that you are a second-class citizen. You are training yourself to accept less. And once you accept less, the universe will stop offering you more. True financial freedom begins the moment you decide that your time and your potential are worth more than the few dollars you are trying to save. If you are ready to stop being penny-wise and start being wealthy, I want you to leave a mark. Comment the secret password, "I am awake." This tells me and the community that you have broken the scarcity spell. You are no longer a victim of the poverty program. You are now a builder. The journey to the 1% is a psychological war. To arm yourself for the next battle, click the video on the screen right now. We are just getting started. Welcome to the new era of your life.